Channing Crowder on Mac Jones. Channing Crowder, who probably, I'm guessing, still has nightmares about the right fist of Matt Light.
That's right.
In his head 3 times.
I hate rich kids. They're the worst.
So, Channing Crowder says that Mac Jones suffers from affluenza.
I
feel
give
like
him
that's
credit for that
unfair.
title. It's very unique. I like it.
Well, there was the affluenza kid. Remember that? There was some kid in the news who.
I looked the story up.
What was that? His mom.
He was drunk driving. He killed somebody and said he acted that way because he grew up rich and no one ever made him.
Yeah, held him accountable.
Held him accountable. Yes.
Yeah.
And just to talk about what Mac Jones comes from, both of his parents played tennis. His dad played a little bit professionally, and both are partners at their law firm. So they're lawyers. Those are what his parents do. So obviously, they probably make good money. They do okay for themselves. But again, we're not talking about the Rockefellers here.
Right.
Well, no, but in the
It's
world of
just-
sports, that's as high
Listen,
class
I
as
get
you
it. But if I'm Mac Jones, I kind of want to be like, all right.
Oh, no, it's not fair. This isn't fair to shoot this at him on week 17 of the NFL season. I completely agree with that. That would be affluenza in the sports world.
But I'm sure you played with guys. You said earlier you played with guys who came from rich families. Is what you see from Mac Jones an effect of playing?
No,
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. No, and not even no. I don't think we can go to that with this situation.
Is it douchey? Like, do you agree with Boomer?
Well, I think everyone's talked about it for 6-7 weeks now, so it's off-putting, and you'd rather the guy be nails and just put his head down and grind it out. I think that's what all fans really want at the end of the day, but it would also be completely fine if he was acting this way if they were 13-3.
Yeah.
So that's that. At the end of the day, it's all about winning here.
Yeah.
He could act however he wanted to if he was 14-2, throwing
I don't know.
iPads.
I don't
Tom
know.
Brady wasn't a picture
In your
of.
second
That's
year,
a great point, Razor.
in your second year, and I don't think it's because he's rich or whatever. I just think that's his personality to be very explosive and kind of act that way, even though all cameras are on you. I think even if they were, headed to the playoffs easily, people would still have an issue with him. People had an issue with Brady at the end of his time, throwing his hands up in the air and being like that. My dad was one of them. My dad's like, why is Tom Brady like this? It's like, relax. When you say he was the most miserable undefeated quarterback, people don't like that, no matter who you are. So if you're in your second year, people are still trying to get to know you, and you're flailing your arms.
But it's fair to say that Channing Crowder wasn't saying this when they were the number 1 seed last year in the middle of the year after beating the Titans. I really think Boomer Esiason on this show opened up the floodgates because people were feeling what he said. And since he has the stature that he does in the game and in broadcasting, people have felt freer to share that thought on Mac Jones.
I give Scheim credit on this because Scheim is a noted Mac Jones hater, but it's a weak place to go with Mac Jones. It's not like, oh, he's a rich kid, he's spoiled, he's a spoiled brat. Give me a break.
Yeah, I don't like the outbursts either, but that's the least of the problems I have with Mac Jones. I don't care.
The outbursts are happening because he gives an F.
That is such a stupid thing to say, and I love you. That means that everybody else doesn't care?
No, it means he affects his passion in a different way.
Don't you think that if you really care, you would maintain your emotions and do your job because you, above all else on the field, have the most responsibility?
He's got a boob of a play caller who's never done it before. He's got a head coach who refuses to name him the starter when he gets hurt.
Oh, so you're okay with someone going against Bill Belichick?
No, I'm just telling you he's frustrated. It's been a massive cluster.
Yeah, but
for him.
you don't think Trevor Lawrence was frustrated with that boob Urban Meyer?
If
of
this
course.
was in the real world, Greg would be like, millennials, this is just life. You're an adult. You're not going to get along with people. You're not going to agree with people. You can't have, outbursts.
Razor, young kids, am I right?
I do think there is a bit of a pileup going on because when Boomer hears that, he's thinking the same thing, that all of the guys on the field care. And when you come off saying you're acting one way because you have passion for the game and you are competitive, you are kind of putting it to some people that they're not as competitive as you and you're not as passionate about the game. I think some players do hear that. Former players would hear it that way.
I've never seen Patrice Bergeron throw things on the ice. Does that mean he doesn't care about the Bruins' success?
Or you would never hear him come off saying that he's so passionate about this game and he cares so much because he knows that everyone else does as well.
No, but I think there are players on that side of the ball on this football team who have expressed frustration in different ways. I mean, Kendrick Bourne did something that nobody ever does, and post-game talked about the confusion that they have when it comes to the offense. I mean, that's a very similar thing. He just expresses it in a different way. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get the hate.
It's just that it is, from my point of view, I view it as him saying immediately, it's not me. I had an issue with Tatum in the NBA Finals, where after every missed jumper, he grabbed his shoulder. Like, it's a little thing that, as a follower of the team, that bothers me, that the play doesn't, like the Jonnu Smith false start when Mac sneaked it in for a touchdown against the Raiders on the play after the Belichick or Patricia called timeout on the touchdown pass. Mac was pissed, rightfully so, but instead of gaining his composure and gathering himself, he snapped it before Jonnu Smith was set. They get a 5-yard penalty. They don't score a touchdown. His negative energy on the field has directly led to the team losing games. And it's totally, like, we had praised Brady for 20 years. We praised Bogarts for being calm under pressure, for not placing himself above the team. And when Mac does that, it's antithetical to everything the Patriots were the last 20 years.
I also think now that the conversation has kind of turned into, is Mac a dirty player? That's given people more of a avenue to be able to talk about how they feel about his personality. Once that starts coming into the conversation, it's like we don't even have to talk about his play on the field. We can talk about his actions on the field. Now people can say how they feel about him. Do you think he's a dirty player?
No, I don't. Is there such a thing in the NFL? I mean, I like it. I mean,
yes, of course, there's such a thing. There's
have you heard
such
of
a thing at
Vontez?
every level of sports.
Right, have you heard of Vontez Perfect?
Yeah. Mac is not. Has he been out there swinging his helmet off the heads
No.
of other guys?
No,
Like,
instead he's trying to be a little dink, and he's grabbing linebackers' ankles and trying to gator
He's
roll with
being
them,
a
or
dink.
diving at a player's legs that have no involvement in the play.
He's being a dink because people like you are out there going, Zappy hour. We want Zappy.
Oh
Zappy,
no,
Zappy,
I'm sorry I
Zappy."
hurt your feelings because I don't think you're that good. Get the hell over it or don't do the job. It's that simple. It's like,
Do you think he's dirty, Razor?
That's not an excuse.
Do you think he's dirty?
No, I think he's frustrated and things aren't going his way, so he's acting out a little bit. Those are dirty plays, though.
Wait, so if things don't go your way and you go after somebody's legs, that's not dirty?
I'm trying here, Greg. I'm trying.
The stick in the groin was Razor's go-to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I felt bad when I did that once. I never did it again. So guilty.
Here's Steve from Rhode Island. What's up, Steve?
Hey, so I have a question, Curtis. What's the most important position in sports?
Producer of the Greg Hill Show.
Hockey goalie.
No, not at all. Not you, buddy.
Oh,
What's
that
the
hurts.
It's quarterback, right?
Yep, get to the point, Steve. We are only here a couple more minutes.
All right. So Mac Jones is passionate because he's the quarterback for your New England Patriots. The play calling's terrible. He shows passion. He's playing for another contract because nothing's guaranteed, and the team has been awful with play calling.
Right,
Mac
we agree.
Jones, I hate it too. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's looking to defend himself because he believes he's in an untenable situation, and I agree. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make it what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It's a selfish behavior because you want people to see how bothered you are and that the mistakes that are occurring on the field are not your fault. They are the fault of someone else.
Yeah,
That is
everyone
the opposite.
else.
That is the opposite of leadership.
It's so comical too that everyone wants to make like excuses for this guy. He's not the first player to be in a bad situation in the NFL. Like, the NFL has had a plethora of horrible coaches and idiots in those positions, and yet their quarterbacks aren't throwing temper tantrums and diving at guys' legs. Like, we need to stop making excuses just because he's the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
Trevor
It is
Lawrence last
ridiculous.
season, everybody was saying, let's redraft. Let's put Mac Jones above Trevor Lawrence. He kept his mouth shut. He had the biggest boob of all time as his head coach. It's like people. I understand people deal with things differently, and I'd be frustrated if I was Mac Jones too. But that's why I'm not an NFL quarterback,
All right.
among other things.